right now, when you ask students though who are just like about to enter design, what do you want to do? So they say, I want to be a graphic designer.
Exactly.
But what?
What do you want to do with that? That's a medium.
Hello everybody, welcome to one more episode of the Design Bathak. I'm your inside man. My name is Rohit Chaudhary, here to give you inside information about the world of design. So today we have a very special guest. He is my friend. He is the designer. He is the dream guy which a student wants to. I don't know, whatever. He's my friend and he's Souvik, and we are going to get to know him more. But before we get to that part, let me introduce Souvik. Souvik, his full name is Souvik Mukherjee. He's a graphic designer and he's currently working with the outreach for the Design Village, as well as he's working with GoMads in developing some of the visuals, and he specializes in publication design. So Souvik, before we start, you know what, like when somebody introduces me, they always miss something out. So I just want you to introduce yourself to the viewers.
As Rohit very well mentioned, and he almost covered all the points, I'm Souvik Mukherjee and I did my undergrad graduation from the Design Village specializing in graphics. So, I mean, the thing is, a lot of people know a lot of things about me because I'm a very open person in that way. But yes, I love everything visuals. I love writing, I love copywriting, and I love science fiction, like anything. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so basically, you are the dream of a Star Wars fan. I think so.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's long-term plans to write a science fiction, space science fiction graphic novel.
Yeah, and I'm into visual effects, so most probably, you know, there's a collaboration already that's gonna happen, I guess.
Yes.
As a designer, when I start, I wouldn't even call myself a designer back then, because design for me was more like a sketching thing, and we all have that mentality. So what was that first spark of design that happened in your life?
So I was always like very intrigued with visual communications. Like I used to love advertisements. I used to love all these like chips packets, chocolate wrappers, and all the branding that was done on that. And the major part that kind of pushed me into design was maths. I used to hate maths like anything. And
oh my god.
Like, yeah. So my parents used to think that I'm doing my maths assignments in my room where I was working on like finishing off my sketches, and I was drawing something or the other. And then one day I went up to my parents and I said, look, I have made these. And look, I'm from a Bong family, something which is like a quintessential multicultural Delhi Bong. So, so my parents put me in a lot of classes when I was a kid. So drawing was one of the classes that I used to go.
I think that's a very common trait
among Bengalis.
I am a Bengali, and my mom was like, he has to go to an art class at least.
It always happens.
Yeah.
So when they put me in a drawing class when I was a kid, I used to hate it. Somehow I never liked it. But then run away from maths, I started drawing. Then I showed it to them. They liked it. They put me in different classes. And slowly from there, I developed my skills, started hosting painting exhibitions, sold a few of my paintings as well.
That's pretty good.
And after that, I found a very nice mentor in my school who himself is an artist and an art director, and he has his education done from the Kala Bhavan Shantiniketan. And so he told me that I would be better suited. He saw that I'm more into visual communications, and he told me that I would be better suited for a future in design and not in arts. To be honest, I wanted to do a master's and a bachelor's in fine arts, BFA and MFA, but he kind of like redirected me into BDes. Then I got myself enrolled in some of these classes which introduced me more about the whole design field. And I've always been into reading books. So I picked up a few books, I read about few stalwarts in design and all that. And then I came across Saurabh Sir and TDV, and then that's it.
Yeah, the rest is history. Okay, so while you were researching about design, what was what did you exactly find on the internet? Because I'm pretty sure that internet played like a huge important role in your life. So what was it? See, for example, when I searched about design, all that came up was product sketches on Google. That's the first thing that like comes up. It was like product sketches, and so like what was it in your case?
So look, as I mentioned, I found a very nice mentor, Mr. Anjan, in my school, So he knew a lot about this field, the design field, and then so he told me what to look up and what to search. So as you said that when you look up, if you search just the term design, you find all sorts of things. But then he told me he introduced me to these nuanced terms like visual communication and these comics and everything. So I started looking up that. I used to love reading comics, so I searched a little bit about comics here, I searched a bit of design here, did some put some keywords together, searched something, but one thing I was very clear from the beginning was that I want to stay in visuals. So that was it. And then I just got out of 12th, and if you can say family pressure or something, like in my family it was totally unacceptable to like drop a year after 12th.
I can totally relate to this because I myself is a Bengali, and like not many people know this, that but like I kind of flunked my 11th standard. Yeah, I tell people that I was like kicked out of the school. Maybe it was like a mixture of both because I was a naughty kid, man. I mean, so yeah, so I can totally relate to the fact that how dropping a year sounds like in a Bengali family.
So exactly. So as I was saying, so I just took an admission in TDV. It was a beautiful campus when I saw it the initial days, and it was amazing. And I had the privilege to be mentored by some of the best in the field. I came across Mridu ma'am, who kind of like was there in the first week. He was who did our orientation, and he taught us about a lot of things about design even before we had started having a proper design classes.
Yes, and the best part is like when you look up to these people and you're literally just out of school, where you're surrounded by engineers, and I know I was surrounded by engineers all over my family, and when you come up to this person and this person is like super cool, and it's like
God, yeah,
it was a totally different experience altogether when you enter a design school.
Yeah, it was intense because, as I've been mentioning it again and again, quintessential Bong family. My mother did not want me to go into design. She wanted me to become an engineer or a doctor.
Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure you must have done science. You're going to science classes like that, like
No.
Oh, thank God, man.
I did not. So, my father, he always wanted to pursue the social sciences and literature.
Okay.
But because of family pressure and friends and peer pressure and all that, he took up science, and he regrets that. So, he was kind of able to convince my mother to like let me be and do what I want to do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because like both of my parents are from like a very science background. My mom's from the biology side and my father is from the math side. So I was like, I want to do design, and then they were like, no, that's not gonna happen. So that took me a long time, obviously, to get into this field.
I understand. I still get to hear from my mom like, no, you did not take science. I wanted you to take science. Please don't come to me anymore.
Oh, my mom will be super happy if I call her up and I tell her that I want to do masters in engineering. And then she'll be like, oh my God, yes, dude. I don't know. Does it happen?
No.
Okay.
You need to be.
Thank God. Yes. So when you was basically were choosing for the colleges and everything, what exactly did you have in your mind? Since back then, like I wouldn't say back then because it was like not long ago.
Yeah, that's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
One major thing, if I am going for a private college, I'll go for a private college in Delhi. Because I'm a single child. I'm not saying this is the correct mindset or something, but my mom is very possessive of me. I hope she doesn't see this, but yeah, she's very possessive of me, and she was like, if you're going for a private college, then why do you want to go for a private college in some other state? Just go for one which is in Delhi already. She said, if you clear NID, then yeah, you can go to Ahmedabad, and yeah, that's fine. We understand. That's the premier design institute in India.
That's the dream. That
was the dream.
Yeah, that was the dream actually. You know, like even while I was preparing for it, my mom wanted me to get into UID, if not NID. But then it was a weird thing because like I personally wanted to get out of Gujarat.
Yeah.
That was one thing. So hence I got into TDV, and I was like, yeah, this is perfect, man. I just like wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And yeah.
TDV's curriculum. So even my parents were a little unsure about TDV because relatively new college. We were the second batch here, but the best part was the way our parents were like talked to in the first day and like in the orientation.
Yes.
Saurabh sir, Mridu ma'am, our dean, like the design dean back then, they kind of made them understand that no, we are here, TDV is here,
Yeah.
and it is here to stay,
Yeah.
and it's going to revolutionize the way design is looked in
Yeah.
India.
Yeah, but then see, one thing is that we did not know these people
Exactly.
and back
And-
then these words even like couldn't like convince us in a way or the other. Now that they are like celebrity designers and everyone, and we are like super lucky that
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
actually got mentored by them. That is like super cool.
Over these course of 4 years, like
Hmm.
some like the visiting faculties that we had,
Oh
like
my God,
top
yeah.
of the class, like Santosh sir.
Santosh sir,
God,
man,
amazing.
yeah.
Santosh sir, Chitrak sir. Like I can't even
Yeah.
imagine that we were taught by these people, and
Exactly.
we didn't even know how good they were back then. Like
Yeah,
of course we knew.
Yeah,
how good
you know,
they were.
it's like it's exactly like you have something and you won't value it till it's like till it's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I guess that's the best way to like put it. Okay, so that gets us to this next round of this whole thing. Let's not call it round because it's like a continuation to the conversation. I'm just like trying to break the pattern so that we get to know him a little bit more in depth, basically. Design as a subject, when you were not exposed to it versus when you got exposed to it, it's like a huge difference. Can you like point out the differences that you sort of like learned after you formally got a design education?
I used to think design is all glamour, not just fashion, but all forms of design is all glamour, but that is not the case. It is a lot of hard work that goes behind it, and a lot of and the glamour part is just like 0.5 or 1% of it.
Yeah.
Like, and design is, it's not just something you do, but you live by design.
Yes.
That is something
Yes.
I've learned in TDB, in my design education, that you live through design. Everything you do in your life is governed, every decision that you take in life is governed by design.
Design
and
itself,
the way
yes.
I've been educated in that.
Yeah.
Very small things, the way I used to dress up back then versus the way that I dress up now, the way I used to like
Exactly.
even like approach my work I'm much more organized right now. This might not be true for everybody, but so that's the thing, design is not the same for everybody.
Yes.
Approaches design in their own way, and design has its impact on everybody in their own way, but design has a massive impact
Yeah,
on people.
it has a massive impact on the lives of it. For example, back when I was in first year, I used to like come to college just like wearing a sweatshirt, and right now this is like what I'm wearing. I'm wearing suspenders, and I don't know I can't like tell you that from this point I started wearing this. So there was like a transition of the whole thing, even in terms of personality as well.
Definitely design helped us develop our identity. For sure. Like back then we're not saying we didn't have an identity. We had an identity, but we were still like exploring ourselves, we were looking for something, and design just gave us a direction.
In my case, when I talk about design, I was that typical Indian guy who used to love cars, and I thought like I'll sketch them and they'll be made. that's what like I thought. So I don't know. I did not know that there is like a whole study about the target audience, and then you sort of look into what exactly are you going to like make a difference, and then there's like a lot of terms when you sort of like get into the whole context of design.
I understand. Like now that you say that, I understand what you're saying. We used to look at design from like an overall perspective. We never knew what goes inside it. So after
Yeah.
our education, like as I said, like I wanted to do visual communications, but what in visual communications?
Exactly, that's a huge so right now when you ask students though who are just like about to enter design, what do you want to do, so they say I want to be a graphic designer.
Exactly.
But
What do you want to do with that? That's a medium. You want to accomplish something through graphic design.
Exactly. So let me drive this conversation back to the point when you pointed this word out. It's called identity. So what is okay, first question is, what is identity according to you when you talk about in context to design? And my second question would be, how do you get there? Is there like a process to get there, or yeah?
So identity is basically who I am, what I am, and of course there is a process to it. I developed my identity through design by working on various projects, by working on people, by exploring myself. What I want to do in future, I would not have ever like even dreamed of doing that when I was like a starter, a fresher in first year. I want to like, so I'll like, a lot of people know about this, but I'll tell you about this. So I want to work with a lot of crafting communities of
Yes,
India.
yes, yeah.
Thanks to our college, I got the opportunity to work with so many people from the crafting communities.
Yeah.
And so working with them, it made me so humble. It made me realize that what I am doing is, I don't know what I am doing exactly.
Yes.
Dude, these people are the masters in their art and their
Yes,
craft.
yes.
And what am I doing, and where is all this? Why are they not getting the credit and the
Exactly.
recognition they deserve?
Hmm.
So that's why that made me very humble, and that kind of like, so that's how I built my identity. Like I would say my work is my identity now,
Yeah.
and like the work that I will be going to do will further on show and tell what I am.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, it has been like a work in progress. It's still a work
Yeah,
in progress.
it's always
Yeah.
a work in progress. I think identity. In my case, I did not. I had multiple identity. I mean,
Oh, God.
yeah,
What are you saying?
it might sound like crazy, but like at one point I was too interested in the minimal aspect of design, and then I suddenly shifted to the quirky aspect of design, the whole pop culture and like the pop art genre of design. And at one point I was interested in the data part of it, and finally my identity becomes a culmination of all of those. So it's definitely process driven, but I believe that there is a lot of thing that has to do with the subconscious part of the process, where you are like literally not aware, but your identity is sort of like building on the way.
Absolutely. I mean, I just had a conversation with my mother yesterday regarding the styles of the youth in today's time. And like, it is very hard for her to understand that why do people like keep the way the hair they do, and why they dress up the way they do, and why
Yes.
they color their hair, their facial hair, and all that.
Yeah.
And like, I just was trying to explain it to them that it is who they are. It's not just about looking good for people anymore. It's
It's
always about
the-
self.
it's about the
if they
self.
think that they look nice, then of course they will dress up like that.
Yeah.
The way you dress up,
Yeah.
if you are not happy with that, why
Yeah.
would you dress up like that?
Exactly.
You were the major part of my conversation yesterday.
Oh,
And then my
okay.
mom was like, what is he done with his hair? And I'm like, how does it matter to you? If he's happy with his hair, then he will keep that hair. But she's
Yeah.
like, this is not normal. And I asked, what is normal?
What is normal?
Exactly.
What is normal? So these. So when you look at design in context to normal, and there's like no such definition
Exactly.
as normal. you know.
What is normal and what is not? Who decides that? Dressing up, the way you handle yourself, getting tattoos, getting piercing, coloring your hair, that it's your choice, it's your idea, that's your
Yeah,
identity.
That becomes your identity.
Exactly.
Now, yeah. What are your future plans when we see design? See, design as a subject is always optimistic. You have to think about how your design is to sustain the future, how it's going to sort of like adapt accordingly. So
Absolutely, I agree. Look, design is the future.
yeah.
People in the coming years, people need to have like some understanding of design. That is completely my opinion, but I feel that everybody needs to have like some idea about design and what design can do and the impact of design, like even the basic knowledge, because everything is going to be driven by that fact. So like nowadays, not nowadays, like in previous days, like in yesteryears and all these, engineering was given so much of importance in
Yeah.
our country.
Yeah.
And being a lawyer or doctor, these were like the sought out professions. And now after that, there was the massive swift.
Yeah.
The internet came to India.
Yeah, the internet.
The IT industry came to India, and it was booming like anything. And everybody started becoming like an IT engineer or software engineer, like an IT guy. And now these companies have come in which are claiming to teach coding to kids.
Yeah.
Like kids like in second grade, third grade, they're claiming to teach coding. I'm not saying that is the correct way to go, but I understand their ideology. Like, yes, that is something which is going to be massive in the future, and starting at a young age definitely helps. Even if that kid won't become a coder or somebody, it will help that person to understand. Like, to become a coder, my father himself is an IT guy. And he has his own school of teaching coding to young kids. But I really like about his school is that he doesn't claim that everybody will become a coder. I have learned this from him, but he just says that what a kid is learning will help him take decisions for himself in the future.
Exactly.
It'll help him think logically. So what I'm saying is, to get back to your point, is design also will reach that point in near future. And what I want to do is, like, the way coding and these things have been introduced to kids at such a young age, I want that design education is made accessible to everybody, to young kids.
Yes.
So even if they don't want to become designers, at least they have a basic idea of design and how it will help them. How can it help them? It will definitely help them.
Yeah, definitely, man. And moreover, when you see, obviously design has like a practical aspect of it and like a dreamer aspect of it. So I feel that whenever you introduce design to anyone, you should not start with the practical aspect of it. So that's, for example, if the whole coding example that you sort of quoted, where these young kids are sort of like taught to code. So code is again a very practical side of design. It comes under, I'm pretty sure it clashes with design itself, but it's a very practical side of it. It's something. So similarly, in the education system that is supposed to be there, I would love to see design being introduced from a dreamer aspect of it, because I myself is a dreamer. I dream, and I believe in one thing, that is where there is creativity, there shouldn't be practicality, because practicality is sort of like, it's where you lose like a lot of creativity in it.
But you are a designer. This is the first thing that is taught to us, that major difference between art and design is more user driven and practical, and art is something which
dude, like that is again like debatable now, dude. That if we start talking on that, it's gonna take us like 2 hours to like wrap up this whole thing. I give preference to the dreamer aspect of design more than the practicality aspect of it, because if you start preferring to that part of design, then I think like a lot of thought is lost in translation to ye kaise hoga. Like,
but that's a aspect of it. But then for a child to start thinking about it, he or she needs to be introduced to it.
Yes, that is the most important thing. That
if it is not introduced, he or she won't even go to that part, ki what is practical and what is like more creative and something like that.
Yeah. Okay, Souvik, what is that one project that you worked in which you would love to revisit, like those times?
The times or the project?
The times. I would say the times, because I think the times is what led to the project, right?
Well, there are 2 projects that I worked on. If you talk about the time, then it was an exhibition that I had set up after we had done our villaging in Kutch.
The Kutch exhibition.
Oh, yeah. So it wasn't just my project, but it was like a project for the whole college.
Yeah.
We are putting up an exhibition for everybody.
Yeah.
And so my time in Kutch made me realize a lot of things about myself, and like introduced me to a lot of new things and made me explore a lot of different things. And so the time in Kutch had its impact on each individual in their own way.
Yeah.
Once we came back, we were like the senior batch, most batch who had gone on that villaging trip.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of responsibilities came on the few of us, and we were given like different sectors of the whole exhibition.
Yeah.
Me being a foodie, I always of course got the food section, and I had made a point that when I was in Kutch, I will explore each and every food joint that I came across, and each and everything I would eat. All the kinds of different local cuisine that I could. Of course I could not eat everything, but I just tried to have everything that I could. And so that was like, okay, I've done that. I have focused my energy time in that. I've seen how they make it.
Yeah.
That is also design, the way they make the food, they wrap the food, they serve the food.
That is a process in itself.
Exactly. So then I got a team together here in TDV, and we set up that food counter for all the people here, and we tried to replicate as much as possible of what was done there, but of course in our own way.
Yeah.
Of course, in our own way. So
Yeah.
so that time was big. That time was massive. Our
Yeah.
time spent in Kutch.
Yeah.
And the other project was my final year design project.
Oh, that is memorable, man.
Yeah, man. Like,
Finally, design projects are memorable.
as much as I say that you cannot design in isolation, you cannot go out when there's a pandemic outside.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know how did I complete my project. It was
Constant
a whole,
calls, constant discussion with everybody you could like lay your hands on. Like, I had my project coordinator, I had my mentor, and then I also was coordinating with like all other people I could just contact.
Yeah,
like,
I
"Bro,
contacted
help."
other mentors as well.
Exactly, like what?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
The more you talk, the more you get. And when you were talking about the whole Kutch thing and the food, I realized there's like a connection to our conversation from the past. Like during this whole thing. So when you said na, in your own way, that's again an identity.
Identity,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
That is very inbuilt in us to sort of like put our identity everywhere, and it's very subconscious. But then if you start realizing the subconscious, that's when the identity starts building. I think that's the.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the.
exactly. Like, I'll give you an example. We were there in Kutch for almost 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
I came back after 1 week. So the last phase of the whole thing was to make things by your own hands.
Yeah.
And I had to come back. I could not complete it for some family reason.
Yeah.
So, but I knew that this was going to happen, and I had kept my mind in that mind frame that I won't be able to work hands-on. So I will work in some other way. So I had taken up the job of documenting everything. So like when Rohit was working in Ajrak making those block prints himself.
Oh my god.
I was back in Delhi documenting and creating a book. And that book remains to be one of the best things I've made till now.
Yes, exactly. The Kutch document. Oh yeah. So my book was about how Kutch, being such an ornamented place, and it rises up from minimalism. Basically, it was destroyed by the whole earthquake, and they had minimal resources to come up with a very ornamented identity. That fact itself like blew my mind, man.
That villaging has had a massive impact on all the people who went there. In terms of professional, personal, whatever. It was big.
It was big, man. Okay, Souvik, so what is your dream project? Like, what is that ideal project that you would love to do ever?
Is it the commercial side of Souvik who's going to answer, or is it the?
I think it should be a balance of both, right? Because a good project is when you are happy commercially as well as creatively. That is an ideal project, and that never happens. I guess it happens. I'm sorry.
Look, I want to work with the crafting communities of the country. I really, really want to work with them. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but I want to work with them because I know and I feel that you can learn so much from them. But along with that, I also want to create something which is memorable, which people see everywhere, which people like. Like, I want to do a branding exercise which is there out there in the market, and like people look at it and like, yeah, this is very nice. People buy something because they like the packaging.
Yes.
That's something that I want to do. That's the other side of Souvik.
Okay, so that gets us to this round. It's a very interesting round. Let's call it the controversial question round.
Right.
So today's controversial question that we are about to ask our guests is, what are the 3 things that constitute a design school?
As the round's name is, it's controversial. I know it will create a lot of controversies. It may create a lot of controversies.
Yeah.
Everybody will have their own opinions.
Yeah.
But as for me, you cannot design in isolation. And even if wherever you want to design, whatever you want to do, you need to be prepared to take on everything head on. And your design education's curriculum should prepare you for that. In TDV, our curriculum is actually chalked out of the Dutch way of design.
Yeah, definitely.
And the way it has taught us that design is not restricted to silos, and you can take on any field of design, and you just need to know the basics of it. So that is the most important. If you're taught that if you're going for a specialization, just focus on that specialization, that is something that I feel that is not the right way to go for it. So the curriculum, that is one part, important part of the of a design school.
Yes, definitely.
The faculty. By faculty, I don't mean just the teachers who teach you design, but the mentors who are there as well. Like, in my first year, I was very privileged to be mentored by one of the master student in the same college.
Yes. The whole interaction.
The whole interaction between them. So, and that'll get me to my third point. So the kind of interaction that I had with that person, that my mentor, that was enlightening for a first year student. I'm like, is that possible? Can we do that? I didn't even think about it. What are you saying? Oh my god.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it just blew my mind, man.
I can totally relate to it because I had the same thing with Aman Srivastav. Aman is like, I always tell people, three people who taught me interaction design. First one is Santosh sir, second is Chitrak sir, and third is Aman Srivastav. So Aman, I remember he did an exhibition. It was a virtual exhibition. He had like these patterns of small images stuck to the walls, and then he opened the application, and it was a virtual exhibition that was like,
that's insane.
You can see through the phone, and that sort of blew my mind. There's like a dimension yet to be unexplored, yet to be explored.
Yet to be explored. So so I mean, I should not call it faculty, but people. People are very you cannot design in isolation, so you need to have a lot of people with a different kind of mindset and different ideologies. You need not have same mindsets, because that creates stagnation. You need to have like
stagnation.
Constant conflict, and you need to have constant arguments and discussions and debate. Like Rohit's way of design and my way of design is poles apart.
It's totally different.
But we have been like together since the first year, and we almost like we work together on like so many. We have worked together on so many projects, and that's the best part of design. The things that I do, he does not do that. The things that he does, I do not do that, and like I don't do that. And together we create something which is meaningful for everybody, because design needs to cater to people, exactly. People. The third point is the atmosphere of a design school. You cannot just sit in a class and like look at a board and learn design. That will never happen. If you want to do something like that, go for more theoretical courses like BCom, BBA, MBA and all that.
Theoretical courses. I love the fact that I learned design by sitting under a jhula, where the faculty used to sit on the jhula.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like,
dude,
we've had so many conversations on like a place called Stepwell we have in our college. We have jhulas in our college where like people are like sitting there having coffee, swinging away. And this is not unofficial time. This is official class period.
Exactly. I still remember Ashutosh sir, he comes in and we had a class in interaction and I was the only person. He made me coffee and we both sat down, we had a class, and that blew my mind. The whole idea of my faculty coming and sort of like making me, because he makes the best coffee in the world. Okay, so that gets us to the last round with a guest, and in this round, it's called a rapid fire round. So in the rapid fire round,
you did not tell me about this, man.
I had. So it's not difficult. So I ask you a few words. It's just 5 words, okay? And what's the first word that comes to your mind? That's what you have to say. The first word is transparent.
Education.
Okay. Literature.
Tagore.
Okay. Identity.
Self.
Okay. Color.
Blue.
Okay, that's pretty awesome, man. I did not know that. And finally, texture.
Velvet.
Oh wow! Okay, that's premium, man. I don't know.
You said the first thing that comes to my head is velvet.
Velvet. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I think it's time we wrap up this whole thing. So, what's your final message to all our viewers?
So, major part of our conversation today was around identity and self. So, yeah, I would just like say this to you, to all of you, that whatever people say, be true to yourself and make your way, like build your way, build yourself in the world. Do not compromise ever on your work, on yourself. Don't do anything what people expect you to do. Like, of course, you have to conform to some social norms, but be you. That's all.
So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching it till the end. Souvik, if you want to see his work has been linked down in the descriptions below. I would want you to subscribe to this channel. I would want you to leave a like as well, and you can check out our college, and that website is also down in the description down below. And yeah, that's it. Bye, guys. Oh, khatam hua yaar. Oh my god.